Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone.
Hello, good morning guys. And how are you today?
We are from English Education Department.
Sultan Maulana Hasanuddin Banten, the third semester.
We are from the first group and I would like to introduce our group to you one by one, okay?
Hello guys, I am Rana Salwa, NIM 191230032. I am the first presenter.
My name Eva A, my name 191230005 and I am the second presenter.
Hello guys, my name is Liyanti, name 1930027 and I'm the third presenter.
Background: Human existence in the process of developing his cultural sense was not independent of language. Every form of human life can be expressed into language. In life it can be felt how important language is means of communication. Everyone realizes that interaction and all sorts of activities in society will be paralyzed without language. In one human interaction with another, there is a need for a communication tool called language. From the diversity of language that humans use around the world, it is therefore necessary for either study or a study to compare and unique language in the concept that all people can understand in learning and knowing the language of the world. The spoken language that we normally use in the everyday conversation, and the second language is the written language as used in literature, whether of poetry, novels, books, myths, and so on.
The first point A about history of language. Have you ever thought about when humans use language as communication tool? Where it come from and what it actually means? The debate over the issue is not just between linguists. Even historians, archaeologists, philosophers, anthropologists, sociology experts, psychologists, and others. This thing has taken centuries and it still hasn't got a meeting point. Linguists to date have not reached an agreement on the origin of the language. If we are discussing the origin of language, it's actually been discussed hundreds of years ago. It is precisely that French linguist people in 1866 were banned from discussing the origin of language. Why? Saying they feel that is not beneficial to discuss the matter, it is meaningless because it is merely speculative. Then, anthropological research has also come to the point and has proved that most primitive cultures believe in the involvement of a god or a god in the beginning of language history. These theories were known as divine origin in the mid-18th century. But those theories don't last. There is also another theory called the gestures theory that states that gestures precede speech. This theory focuses more on God's gift to man and they speak. Anthropologists point to the origin of language by linking them with human development itself. From the point of view of anthropologists, it is concluded that humans and linguists development together. And next, point B, definition of language. In the Big Indonesian Dictionary, or KBBA, language is defined as system of arbitrary sounds, which is used by members of society to cooperate, interact, and identify. While in Oxford Dictionary, it is translated the system of communication in speech and writing that is used by people of poor country. It means language is a communication system. Language has sound system, meaning the sound or voice formed a speech that is spoken by humans and produced by the speech and had meaning. The sound system is a set of sound or voice produced by the systematic and repetitive nature of human speech. That is, language is a speech system that is released.
Okay, here I want to explain about definition of language by expert. For more understanding of the following language, some experts define what language is. And here there is Mario Pei, Bloomfield, J. Crickard, Webster, and Plato. Mario Pei define language is a system of communication with sounds that is offered through speech and hearing organs among members of the communication and use sound symbols that are arbitrary and have an agreement of meaning. And Bloomfield defined language is an arbitrary system of sound symbols that allows all humans to build culture or learn system from culture to communication or interact. And Jack Ricard defined language is a human communication system from the structure of sounds composing by bringing expression to a larger unit, namely meaning. Webster defined language is a systematic tool to convey an idea or feeling by using distinct signs, sound, gestures, or signs that contain understandable meaning. And Plato defined language is a system of the result of one's thoughts by means of onomata. Onomata is the name of an object or something, and remata is speech, which is one of the mirrors and idea of an individual in the flow of air through the mouth. So it might be defined in a general way. The language is a sound system that has meaning, symbol of sound, and is spoken of from the human arbitrary system in a natural setting that is used as a means of communication. Okay, next I want to explain about system of language, and here therefore it is related to semantic, grammatical or grammatical subsystem divided over morphology and syntax. The subsystem of morphology includes the words and the system of its constituent. The subsystem of syntax includes larger units of the words of words and links between them, including phrases, clauses, and sentences. And the last lexicon subsystem involves an immersion of the words of a language and the sense of both denotative and cumulative.
Characteristic of language. The first, language is a system. A systematic trait is that language can be described as finite unit with certain rules. For example, the phrase sister can be described as the subject of her is sister, predicate, melted, and the object of the shirt. The predicate was can also be described again if the me plus was is prefix. The word was can also be described again as phoneme. W A S H. This subsystem in renderings is known by the name linguistic or the language landscape. We include, and these are the three subsystems of language, the namely phoneme, morpheme, phrases, clauses, sentence, and cause. And the second, symbolic of language. Language is constantly connected with all aspects of life and nature around people. Let's put it this way, the word cat, as indicated here, is a four-legged, furry animal that is usually found at home or in the street. The third, language is sound. According to Ridalaksana 90,063-27, sound is the impression of the nerve center as a result of the vibration of the eardrum that reacts because of change in air pressure. These all the sound produced by the human speech include that of language. Example like the sound of screaming, sneezing, coughing, and etc. In the fourth, the language has meaning. That meaningful language symbolism is in the language of morpheme, words, phrases, clauses, sentence, and discourse. The everything has meaning. However, because they are different degrees, not the same types of meaning, a moralistic meaning and a word called the meaning of lexicon. Phrases, clauses, and sentence are called grammatical meaning, and the discourse is called pragmatic meaning or context meaning. And the fifth, language is arbitrary. Language has an arbitrary quality, the meaning being that there is no compulsory correlation between language symbol. So, he means arbitrary, it means which likes, alterations, non-existence. An example, wooden objects, they are rectangular or rectangular with four legs, are called tables. So, second, fickle things. And the fifth, language is productive. The productive nature of language means that the elements of language are limited, but that language is used by those who have it. For example, Indonesian is made up of 5 vowels and 21 consonants. However, in its development, it can result in millions of words, word groups, sentence, and discourse. And the seventh, language is unique. Each language has a distinctive system that sometimes doesn't exist in other language. For example, such as Batak, Javanese, and English. It all has its own signature. And the eighth, language is universal. The universal of common language. Languages have vocal and consonant sound. Example, English has 16 vocal words and 24 consonants. And ninth, Language vary. Each language is spoken by a group of people belonging to a language society. Members of society are usually made of different social and cultural backgrounds and culture. For example, some live in the city, some in the village, some adults and some children, and so on. And tenth, the language was dynamic. Language can evolve, even change over time. Let's talk about friends and WhatsApp or Instagram and etc. And the last, language is humans. The means of humans' communication, namely language, has the less basic characteristic of being human. Language in a linguistic view only studies human language. From any country and region on it, apart from human language, such as animal language, it doesn't belong to linguistic. And next point, the last, the function of language. The first, the function of language is thinking. The role of language in science was evolved really from the function of language as the mediator. Through thinking activities man acquires and develops science by amazing and manipulating science and knowledge through memorizing, analyzing, understanding, assessing, searching, and imagining. During the activity of thinking, language acts as the mental representation that is needed to think about abstractions and is not acquired through sensing. And the second, language is function as a communication. Communication is one important aspect of development of science. The function of language as means of human communication includes four basic functions. Number 1, the function of expression. 2, the function of information. And 3, the function of exploration. And the 4th, and the function of persuasion. In conclusion, language is a means of communication for humans to interact in social life. It has the basic characteristic, the inherent characteristic of the language being a system, symbolic, of sound, arbitrary. It is meaningful, conventional, unique, universal, productive, varied, dynamic, and as means of social interaction and an expression of its expression. And suggestion 1. Predictable readers expect readers to understand the material better in this paper because it is very useful for students who study linguistics. And 2. The reader expects the readers to find out the linguistic general picture through the expounding of this paper. Thank you.
Okay guys, I think enough. Sorry if there is mistake, and the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye, see you.
Thank you.
And see you next time. Bye.